Hey everyone, my name is Lucas Saraiva and I'm a member of the Brazilian Planetary Health Club. And today we'll be presenting some reflections and tips that we believe that might be helpful to those that plan on building a Planetary Health Club and also to the other Planetary Health Clubs out there. This presentation was made by the members of our club's committee of Club Articulation and all the 5 Brazilian Planetary Health Campus Ambassadors for the year of 2021. So here's an index of what we'll be covering today. First, we'll have the planetary health in the world, clubs and ambassadors. Then we'll talk about our club. Then we'll hear a quick word from our friends from London, Berlin, and Vancouver. Then I'll be talking about building our club's foundation, that is, writing down 2 documents, the Manifesto and the internal rules. Then we'll talk about who we are already in contact with. And last but not least, we'll be talking about why should we all work together. We're very thankful to those of you who are watching us, and we really hope this presentation can be helpful in some way. And please feel free to reach us if you have any doubts, if you just want some help in building your club, or if you want to collaborate with us. We'll be very happy to help you. And coming up next, Alex will be talking about planetary health in the world, so I'll see you soon.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex. I'm one of the Planetary Health Campus Ambassador in Brazil in this year of 2021, and I'm a member of the Brazilian Planetary Health Club. In this section, I will talk to you about clubs and ambassadors around the world. And just to remember, you can access our social media using the QR code. And how a student can spread the concept of planetary health in his country. There are 2 possible ways. The student can be a campus ambassador or can create a student club. Both of these options are linked to the Planetary Health Alliance. Now let's understand what a campus ambassador can do. Every year, Planetary Health Alliance open inscription to you apply to be a campus ambassador. In this year, we have 58 planetary health ambassadors across the world. These ambassadors are distributed in 25 countries and 5 continents. This map shows the country of origin of Planetary Health Campus Ambassadors. On the map, we can see that Brazil, USA, Canada, Nigeria, Australia are the countries with most Planetary Health Campus Ambassadors by origin. This other map shows the country of residence of Planetary Health Campus Ambassador in this year of 2021. We can see on the map that Brazil, Australia, Nigeria, USA, and Canada are the countries with more presence of campus ambassador this year. And what is a student club? Let's see a little more about student clubs and where are these student clubs on the world. Accordingly, the Planetary Health Alliance website, we have 21 Planetary Health student clubs around the world. And these clubs are located on 4 different continents. Let's see which country have a Planetary Health student club. This map shows which country have a Planetary Health student club. We can see here all 4 continents that have a club. We have clubs in America, North America and Latin America. We have clubs in Europe. We have clubs in Africa. We have clubs on Asia. And why so important to have a student club? Let's see that. When students build a Planetary Health Club, this helps to promote the planetary health topics and helps to gathering people interested to work together on the same theme, the theme of planetary health. And this favors the continuity of the development of this theme, because work together is better than work alone. In this presentation, we see some maps that shows any countries with ambassadors but not with clubs. These countries are the best place to create new student clubs because we already have people engaged on the STEM of planetary health. But how a student planetary health club works? To help you understand, we have more two sections on this event. In one section, we will show our club, our Brazilian Planetary Health Club, how our club works. And another one, we will show you two videos about Club of Berlin and Club of London. And they will explain a little more about their own clubs. Coming up next, we'll talk about our club, the Brazilian Planetary Health Student Club. We'll talk how our club works, how many people we have, our representativeness, what we have been doing in this last year. And just to finish, I would ask you to access this QR code to follow us on our social media. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, I'm back again, and I'll be talking a bit about our club, about our members, and I'll show you some cool stats. Well, what you probably know is that Brazil is a very big country, and what you probably don't know is that it is divided in 5 different regions, being North, Northeast, Center West, Southeast, and South. And here we have a map made by Alex that represents Brazil in all its 5 different regions, and each one of these stars that you can see in the map represent the cities that at least one of our members currently live. Our club has a total of 36 members from all the 5 different regions from Brazil, and as you can see, the majority of us are from the Southeast region. We also have an equal gender split, being half of our members are male and half are female. In terms of ethnicity, most of our members consider themselves as white, followed by pardos, that are brown-skinned Brazilians, black, and lastly yellow. And we still don't have any indigenous members in our club. Regarding our level of schooling, half of the members are undergraduates, and that includes me, followed closely by graduates, and lastly postdoctorate. Now, talking a bit about our club's activities, our club is divided in 2 types of groups, being committees and work groups. Regarding our committees, they exist to ensure the internal organization of the club. Any member can join any committee at any time, and each member can participate simultaneously in only 2 committees, and it is encouraged that at the end of each semester, members change committees, but it's not mandatory. Here you have a chart with our committees, and they are Articulation of Global Clubs, Articulation of Regional Clubs, Activities Evaluation, Communication, Financial, Newcomers, and Digital Organization. And now our work groups. They have a period of existence that is determined by the work group itself. Their focus is in the development of activities and projects, and they must be composed of at least 1 member that will act as a coordinator and 2 to execute. Here we have a chart with our work groups, and they are Citizen Science, Reading Club, our 3 communication work groups that are medias, lives, and podcasts, Girls and Women in Planetary Health, Planetary Health Trails, and Conservation Units and Planetary Health. And now, coming up next, we'll have a brief video presentation from our friends in the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in London, the Charité Medical University of Berlin, and the University of British Columbia in Vancouver.
Hello and welcome to our new Brazilian colleagues. I'm Anna and I'm one of the team in the Planetary Health Network, a group of students, early career researchers who work at the London School for Hygiene and Tropical Medicine under the diktat of the Centre on Climate Change and Planetary Health. And we are really excited to develop links with you and to hopefully work on projects moving forward.
Hi, I'm Tate and I'm involved in developing our network partnerships. Our group is coordinated by an elected committee of staff and students, and we meet once a month to plan events and to advocate for planetary health within our institution and our local community. We already work with other like-minded groups and organisations in London and the rest of the UK, but we're also building our network with international groups like yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosa. I'm one of the alumni student ambassadors of the PlaHNet at LSHTM, and I will share some of the recent events we organized at LSHTM, and will also show you some pictures and some flyers of the events. So this was last year in December when we organized a Planetary Health quiz, which was very interactive, and it wasn't just about factual knowledge, but we also got creative and built an object out of recyclable LSHTM waste. This was also in December last year when we supported the Bloomsbury College's Sustainable Christmas Fair, which ended up in a night-long baking action of vegan cookies, which we then sold at the Christmas market, including some waste reduction tips for the Christmas period. Then we also organized a full week of planetary health events, which took place end of June, beginning of July this year, which included an eco-anxiety workshop organized by 2 students that built on an emotional toolkit going from individual to collective action. We also organized an event on food waste where we discussed where food comes from and where waste goes to at LSHTM. Then also part of Planetary Health Week was a book club with a professor and author Adam Kucharski, who presented his latest book, The Rules of Contagion, where we discussed the role of science communication, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. And then last week, we organized a panel discussion on One Health, EcoHealth and Planetary Health, which was a very vivid discussion thinking about the importance of strengthening collaborations between public health specialists and ecologists. And for the future, or in the future, we hope to organize many more events, which for now will take place online, but hopefully soon in person again.
Hello, my name is Kathy. I'm an alumni student ambassador to the Planetary Health Network at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. And on behalf of the whole network, I would like to congratulate you on founding this new group on planetary health in Brazil, and send you a warm welcome to the growing alliance of individuals, groups, and institutions worldwide who commit to the vision of planetary health. Welcome, and we're looking forward to communicating and collaborating with you in the future.
Our common journey began in November 2019 when we were given the opportunity to take the responsibility of the previous existing Planetary Health Club. We are an interdisciplinary organization with diverse personal backgrounds ranging from public health and medicine to anthropology and religious studies, health economics, environmental planning and landscape architecture, as well as modern South and Southeast Asian studies.
In Planetary Health, we found a concept that represents our vision of protecting the natural environment to preserve the health of all living beings on planet Earth. As campus ambassadors, we want to pass on that vision. The COVID-19 pandemic made us realize that we have to view this distressing predicament as an opportunity to generate a positive, collective goal of creating a better world.
As the pandemic started and affected many people's health, we created a poster that aimed to explain the origin of COVID-19 as a zoonotic disease, and as well provided cultural activities that people could do during these times. We also started to shift our activities to the virtual space and created a webinar series with the initiative Charité Studies for Future. It was a series to convey knowledge about the relationship between environmental health and health protection.
Together with the Professor for Climate Change and Health, Sabine Gabrisch, we conducted a seminar on how to achieve a healthy and green recovery strategy from the COVID-19 pandemic. We therefore divided our fellow students into groups of different public health stakeholders. All of them should write a proposal on how to support a strategy and how to create planetary health in all policies.
Together with a group of other campus ambassadors from all over the world, we have the unique opportunity to develop a Planetary Health ABCs book for school children, which will be translated into multiple languages. Currently, we are planning to develop a planetary health game for primary school children at the Environmental Education Center Kienberg, and we will conduct an interactive workshop with the Institute of Environmental Planning and Ecology at the University of Stuttgart beginning of next year.
We're very eager to build new alliances with like-minded people across our only home planet Earth. If you would like to join our team and enrich us with your ideas, then please contact us via Planetary Health at postdeo.de.
Hola Brazil, this is Verena and Federico sending you this warm message of welcome to the Planetary Health community from the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada, where we are two PhD students passionate about planetary health.
Hola, mi nombre es Federico, yo soy de Colombia, muy contento de conectar con ustedes y poder seguir hablándonos en un futuro. Mi proyecto es sobre soberanía alimentaria y cómo esta soberanía alimentaria está relacionada con la salud y la sostenibilidad del medio ambiente, y trabajo tanto con naciones indígenas en Latinoamérica como acá en Vancouver, en Canadá, mirando temas de contaminación ambiental y cómo estos tienen un efecto sobre la salud humana y la salud de los ecosistemas.
And my project focuses on political knowledge translation strategies to include more scientific evidence into climate policy locally and nationally and potentially internationally. And I'm really passionate about improving planetary health through local work, particularly climate policy, but also through building resilient and sustainable food systems, which is work that I've been engaged with here on campus for several years now.
Pues bueno, nosotros empezamos este grupo de UBC Planetary Health, nos conocimos y estuvimos muy motivados de conectar. Pero una de las razones principales para hacer esto era para conectar con la comunidad global que está pensando en estos temas, con investigadores en otros lugares. Entonces estamos muy felices y muy emocionados de poder seguir conectando con ustedes de la manera que sea virtual, sea en persona. Y muy contentos también de que Planetary Health esté conectando cada vez más con países en otros lugares del mundo, y eso es parte de lo que creemos nosotros que es muy importante que siga pasando.
And we're hoping to see many of you during the upcoming Planetary Health meeting in virtual Sao Paulo in April. Until then, take care and stay healthy.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Coming up next, Lucas will be talking about how can you build your club. And for the foundation of a club will be necessary two different documents, the Manifesto and the internal regulation. Lucas will be talking about these two documents. Stay with Lucas.
Hello everyone, it's Lucas again. And in this section, we're going to cover what you need to do to build a strong foundation for your club. But before we go into that, I'm going to go very quickly into the steps that we undertook when we built our club from scratch. So in our first meeting, we got to know a bit about each other and we discussed how to create a club because everyone is new to the concept of creating some kind of club. And then we discussed what should be our priorities. In the second step, we were focused in discussing and defining what we should put in our manifest and internal rules. These are the documents that I'm going to talk about later. And with our ideas in sync, we focused on actually writing down both of these documents. Then with our rules and goals defined, we created committees and work groups. Each member then joined between 1 and 2 committees and as many work groups as they wanted. And last but not least, with everything set, we began to get our hands dirty. I believe it's important to say that this whole process was very natural. It all happened very naturally. So all of our actions came from our meetings, and so the process might end up being different to other clubs. But before I jump into the 2 documents that I'll be talking about later, the manifest and the internal regulation, I would like to give you the reason as to why you should go into the trouble of actually building them. The main reason is that you all know by now that processes in life are not always simple, and there are many different situations and scenarios and problems that can happen, and the same applies to a club. So the best thing that we can do in life is to be prepared to as many of these scenarios and situations as possible. And so covering as many of these scenarios will give us a strong foundation. And it's important that we, when building a club, make sure that it has a strong base and that we try to be prepared in advance to as many of these situations and problems as possible, so that when they happen, and believe me, they will most likely happen, we know how to proceed. Our club's foundation consists of 2 documents, our manifest and our rules of procedure. The manifest answers some of the questions that are the core of the club's existence, like, for example, why will the club exist, what principles will the club provide the club, what activities will the club do, and which values bring us members together. And building a manifest is not exactly easy, but I believe that not only it is very important, but it is also a very good opportunity to get to know the other members and to learn a little bit with one another, and also to share experiences and ideas. And the manifest will not only serve as an important pillar of the club's foundation, but also as a reference to someone that wants to know a bit about the club, its purposes and objectives. The second document is the internal regulation, or rules of procedure. I was not exactly sure what was the best translation, so I've decided to leave both of them. And when you're building a club, it's very essential that you define how things are going to work and what will be the rules, especially because when you are working as a group, things will be a lot easier if you have some standardized procedures when you're dealing with a large array of situations, like, for example, who's eligible to join the club, or if someone wants to join or quit the club, what needs to be done, or what's the minimal level of engagement that is expected from the members, and if they're not fulfilling these expectations, what are you going to do? Are you going to invite them to withdraw, or are you going to talk to them? And how's your club going to be divided? Which working groups are going to be created? Which commissions or committees will exist so that they ensure that everything's working fine? And when, how, and how frequently are you going to meet to discuss how things are going and what are you going to do next? And how are you going to make decisions regarding the club? These are just some of the many situations that the club most likely will have to face. And again, although they're not mandatory, having these predefined rules on how to deal with these situations will definitely make everything easier. Well, as you've seen, there are many things to consider, but you don't have to do it all at once. Actually, you won't be able to cover everything from the beginning. We didn't, and the good news is that you can always change things. You can always discard what's not working and incorporate what's necessary. We are constantly changing things and discussing what needs to change, both in our documents, in our meetings. So that's just part of the fun, of being a club. growing up together. Now, if you want to start but you don't know exactly how, or if you have any doubts, or if you just want to take a look at our documents to get an actual idea of what we wrote, you can feel free to reach us, and we'll be very happy and very glad to help you. Coming up next, Beatriz is going to talk about who we are already in contact with and what we've been up to.
Hello everyone, my name is Beatriz, and I'll talk a little bit about building planetary health bridges around the world and why this is important. In the early 20th century, the idea of thinking globally and acting locally started to form and gain strength, being applied in several areas, including planning, environment, conservation, and education. The phrase itself was first used during the 70s, when the environmental movement gained momentum. But today, the challenges that we are facing are no longer local. Climate change, carbon emissions, biodiversity losses, social injustices, and inequities do not respect any borders. We live in an increasingly interconnected world, so acting locally may no longer be enough. Many environmental activists are changing the phrase to think globally, act globally, and building bridges between planetary health clubs and groups can enhance this global action. So this is one of the things we are trying to do in the Brazilian club, and I'll present 3 examples of this: the participation in the Latin America Hub, the approximation to the Planetary Health Network, and how we are helping to build new clubs around the world. So the Latin America Hub was officially founded in September 2018 through the formation of a network in Hilo. There are currently 21 members in our shared drive. The Brazilian club as an institution is not part of the hub, but some members of the club are. There are some areas and topics of interest that emerged from the Planetary Health in Latin America seminar, which took place in December last year. The areas are research, education, communication, students club, ambassadors program, and the topics are logging, climate change, vector-borne diseases, nutrition and food, urbanization and urban health, social inequalities and decolonization processes, originary communities and knowledge, and public policies. Talking a little bit more about the Planetary Health Network, or PlaHNet. PlaHNet is a network that envisions to get young professionals in every sector involved in planetary health through education, advocacy, and creativity. They have a website that you can access for more information, and they have 3 advocacy pillars that are community, sustainability, and responsibility. They have members from all around the world, so North America, Central America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia. This is Marisol Iglesias. She's the secretary of PlaHNet. And this year I hosted a meeting with her, Alejandro Molina, who is part of the advisory board of PlaHNet, and ProM, that is the director and co-founder of PlaHNet. This meeting was to present the PlaHNet to our Brazilian club. And finally, we aim to help forming new clubs in other countries. We are helping forming the first Dutch Planetary Health Club. We got in touch with a student at Maastricht University interested in starting a club. The first contact happened through email, followed by WhatsApp messages, and we sent her some documents and guidelines about how to start a planetary health club. So we have a manifest a regiment and a guideline document that was based on the Planetary Health Alliance guideline, but has been adapted and modified by us based on our empirical experience of forming a club. So this is what we have done so far. We believe that it's important to identify initiatives that are already happening, to strengthen them, but also help creating new initiatives. And next, we'll talk a bit more about the benefits of uniting clubs, how clubs can work together and enhance their actions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Valkyria. I'm a veterinary student at Maranhão State University, and I'm part of Brazilian Planetary Health Club. I will continue this presentation, talk about some benefits of joining with others club. Well, one advantage is to spend your contact nature directly and indirectly, because in addition to people you will have immediate contact with, you will also be able to meet other people from this. In addition, you can have access to information and opportunities that you would not have had before. Also, it will be possible to share experience and promote dialogue of debate and exchange of knowledge with favor both clubs. And all of this ties may result in dissemination of knowledge. This offers the personal development of club members and is also a step forward in sustainable development.
Hey everyone, we hope that this presentation was helpful, and if you have any doubts or if you need some help or just want to plan something with us, please feel free to reach us. Here you have my email and Alex's email. You can contact us at any time. This QR code will lead you straight into our club's link tree, where you'll find all of our social medias. And thanks again for watching, and take care and be safe.